This is the 22nd season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk about bass fishing. And if you're perusing any social media, well, you'd already know, so I'm not really talking to you. I'm going to talk to the people who weren't perusing social media yesterday because BTL, I mean, we are just so dialed in right now. We have a TikTok account with the short up. We have a Facebook page that's updated with who today's guest was and a short from yesterday and a picture of today's guest on it. And then we also have a BTL Instagram account, which is updated with the same information. And in the future, all of your BTL needs and wants, you'll be able to see that through social media. I'm pretty excited about it. Big shout out to Court for... So I never really understood the old guy technology thing until I downloaded TikTok and was looking at it. And I went, oh my God, I'm the old guy in my 40s staring at TikTok right now. And she had to help walk me through on how to put it together. That's just what happened. Can our guest today relate? Can you relate to that at all, Justin Lucas?
I can relate to my wife having to walk me through a lot of things. Yeah, dude.
Like,
I mean,
I found myself like this. And I was doing like the thing where my neck was getting closer to the screen and I didn't know what to hit. And she was said, here, just give it to me. And then she's got all of the stuff on her phone too now, but we have moved into the 21st century finally with BTL. So if you follow me on Instagram, because you know I still am not going to do the personal Facebook thing just because I value my own peace. But I am going to update the BTL Facebook. So you can follow that page. There's already like 8,500. Last time I updated it was 2022. So now we're updating that every day. If you're on the TikTok or you have friends that are on TikTok, we're on that. And then Instagram, that's probably the one that I would follow, is Bass_Talk_Live. I've been sharing some of the stuff from that, but that's where we're going to do all the information kind of through it. It's what I would call a necessary evil, Justin Lucas. And the older you get, the more necessary evils come into play. Do you concur with that statement?
I definitely concur. Yeah, it is certainly a necessary evil, especially in my job. No doubt about it.
Yeah. Something that is not necessary or evil, which is actually really freaking exciting, is you're about to have, well, your wife is about to have your third child. And I asked before the show, like, I wanted to get you on this week, talk about the big win on Erie. You went head to head with Wheeler. You got under his skin, didn't even know you did. It was a fantastic battle. I think you guys have a very organic, natural rivalry as two top level competitors, but you were like, yeah, I'll jump on whatever. And then I said, you're getting close. And you're like, yeah, any day. And you'll have 3 boys in the house, 2 of which are running around.
Yeah, I'm watching one in the front yard here, right around on his little John Deere electric tractor. The dog's chasing him. My other one, I think he's doing a little bit of school right now. We homeschool. And my wife might go into labor while we're on this podcast. So it's exciting times around the Lucas household right now, for sure. I love it, dude. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's a lot of work, but it's worth every penny. So
we'll get into the fishing thing, but when I talked to you afterwards, I'm sure a lot of people, one of the first things I asked was, I was like, I had you on after you and Brent won the cartoon cups in the team event there, and you've won a Toyota series and things like that. But when it comes to, and they could watch it, when it comes to like single BPT stuff, this is the first one that like your boys have been able to like watch on TV, understand what's going on, be like, oh yeah, dad's battling it out with Jacob Wheeler and he won. And now he's talking about us. Like, I seemed like there was a reason why you didn't take the sunglasses off right away in the last 30 seconds in the first 5 minutes after you won.
Yeah, man, it's definitely different. As I'm getting older, I've watched all these young guys win so much over the last few years, and it's been a minute for me for sure. So there's kind of that thought in the back of your head, like, man, you always heard KVD and Skeet and those guys say you never know when your last win is going to be, and I'm like, surely my last win wasn't when I was 34 years old. Like, that can't be the last one. But the way things have gone,
Oh, we lost the audio.
Things have gone in the industry. It's been leaning more and more younger with the people that are winning, and I think it's a mixture of technology, but also the knowledge available. They're getting so good, so young. And it's really impressive, but it makes me want to continue to work hard. I don't feel old yet. Like, I feel like I still have a lot of really good years ahead of me. But amazing for my boys to watch Dad win, for sure. I got to grab this thing up here to show you real quick.
Okay.
That they made.
Oh, I think you posted this. This
I
is
did.
badass.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Did you see it? I don't know if you can see it, but like, I got home. I get this way to go, Dad. We love you.
A little bit more here, and then I'll go full screen on it. There it is. Wait, that had to be really cool. Look at all those. Look at the drawing on the bottom corner. I'm assuming, is that Coop?
Yeah, so those are the
that?
smallmouth hanging around the buoy, the some of the bait fish they're eating, my drop shot. And it says, we don't need any of that electronic, or I don't need any of that electronic stuff. So it's pretty cool, man. Like, to come home to that, I'm like, that's pretty sweet. Because, yeah, the last time I won a big event, I guess Cooper was about 2 and Decker wasn't even born. So really cool, dude. I mean, that's life right there. And I'm just so freaking blessed and thankful for it. I mean, don't even know what to say about it.
This is that's your first photo on FLW. That's your first photo.
Look how chunky I was.
That was ever posted on FLWOutdoors.com back in the day.
That's cool.
Take me from that day to August 19th, 2026. And what's the first thing that pops into your head after showing that picture that your boys drew you about to have your third kid? What's the first thing that pops into your head when you look back and see that photo?
Oh, man, I don't know. I look back at that photo, and the first thing that comes to mind is just like, I remember that day like it was yesterday, catching fish at Lake Shasta in the back of the boat and just trying to soak up every single thing I could to learn about bass fishing. Dude, when I was 13, I was like 100% committed to trying to make this a living. So that was just one stepping stone right there in the journey, and I ended up winning that tournament. But, at that time, I think I was only 18 or 19. Like, who knows, what I was thinking back then. Look how chunky I was, dude. That is so
you
crazy.
You reverse chunked. You're one of the few guys whose jawline got better with age. Like, if you look at me then, I've got a good jawline, and now I've got the round face.
Bro,
how is that even
hilarious.
Possible?
That is hilarious. That was the after high school, like, I guess kind of party phase, and just like I was so focused on fishing, I wasn't working out, wasn't trying to stay in shape. Didn't know, some of the things I know now. So, oh God, you're pulling another one up. There we go. I'm getting kind of scared when I see the screen move of what you're gonna pull up.
Let's talk about the win. There's tournaments that I watch a lot of. There's tournaments that I don't watch a lot of. That goes for NPFL, Bassmaster, BPT, whatever. But I made a point to watch the final day of Lake Erie. The drama with Burge and Wheeler and the Angler of the Year had already been wrapped up, and we had a really good interview with Burge on Monday where he talked a lot about his mental game plan and how he's kind of been in the groove over the last couple years. And I called it like like building a champion or something like that, because, you know, he's from Oklahoma there in Blanchard, and you've watched him come up from the BFLs and just how hard he's worked to get to the top level and have that trophy now. But I wanted, like, I knew Wheeler had to have something in his back pocket. Like, he's not going to go into that staying in the middle of the pack, knowing that he probably has to finish or win that tournament if Zach hadn't made the top 10. But then I knew he really wanted to win the last one. I knew you had won on Erie before. You really wanted to win it. You probably had a little something in your back pocket too. And I didn't realize you had what, like 16 top 10s on the BPT. And that's with zeroing weights. So you've gone into BPT events. I think it was either Chad or JT in between killing all those feral hogs who pulled that stat out.
I saw that.
Oh, that looked like a nightmare.
Yeah.
But dude, that's a lot of top 10s going in tied to the lead, knowing who you are, knowing your pedigree of winning Bass, Angler of the Year, Elite Series champion. You've won at every single level. But to have 16 of those tied for the lead and not come out on first, like you had to be like, dude, I gotta close the deal on one of these things.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, let me say congrats to Zach, because what he did this year was, I mean, dude, nothing short of amazing. That guy had one of the most incredible years we've ever seen a professional bass angler have, any tour, anywhere, any year. So, man, that was really, really cool. Super happy for him. He has really gotten into his groove the last couple of years, and I mean, in my opinion, solidified himself as, like, you know, top 3, top 5 dudes the last few years, like, no doubt. I mean, when you win AOY, you're arguably top, 2 this year for sure. You could take the guy that wins Bass and say that him, whoever that is, and Zach are the best, but Zach's going over to NPFL, dominating, doing all that. So hats off to him. But yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, I don't know. I had something in my back pocket for sure going into the final day. You know, I loved Lake Erie. I've only fished 3 tournaments up there. Fished a Bass Open actually in 2013. That was the year I qualified for the elites. Oh, wow. And then that was one time I fished there. The other time was the super tournament that I last won 6 years ago. And then this time. So I've only ever fished 3 tournaments up there. Can't remember how I did, exactly what place I finished in 2013, but it wasn't bad. And what's crazy is in all 3 events, I've caught everything on a drop shot. Of course, Max Scent wasn't around in 2013. But it was really nostalgic and, like, just weird feeling being out there. Really felt like I was in a dream. The final day, like, leading again with a Max Scent drop shot and just catching that day, just giant smallmouth. You know, I think I had 28.6 for my biggest 5 on the final day.
Wow.
And just like, I mean, that's the best day of smallmouth fishing I've ever had in my life. I told my boat official afterwards as we were driving back, he's like, that's got to be the best day you've ever had. And I'm just like, I don't know. You know, I don't know. I've had some really good days. But once I actually sat down and added it up and what was on the line and everything, I'm like, that was the most memorable day of smallmouth fishing I've ever had in my life.
Did all the 5-pounders surprise you, or did you know they were there and that was a possibility? Or was it one of those things where you'd hook another one and you'd feel the head shake and be like, you have got to be kidding me. It's another 5.5.
It was, I knew I was around really big ones. Like, my quality when I got out, you know, on those 2 spots further out, those navigational channel marker deals, when I got out there, the quality just went up dramatically. Like, it was probably a 2.5 or 3 pound average up at the mouth of the river, and it seemed like where everybody else was fishing. But out there, it was a 4 pound average. I had 25 fish last day for almost 100 pounds, you know, 98.11. And so I knew when I was setting the hook out there, there was potential for it every single time to be 4 to 6 pounds. The 6.11, I would say, surprised me a little bit. That is a true giant. But and then to catch that many over 5 the final day might have surprised me a little bit, but I was not surprised to get the numbers of bites I had and the overall quality.
Did it surprise you that you weren't sharing it with any of your fellow competitors? I mean, we're talking Great Lakes in the age of not only just the technology, but information. I mean, they're not swimming around everywhere out there, if you know what I mean. And it kind of surprised me as I watched it, where I was like, oh, like he has multiple buoys with schools of 5-pounders on him to himself on the final day with $125,000 on the line.
Yeah, dude, that part blew me away. And I guess going back to your original question, I kind of got off topic there, but to be so close so many times and just not, there's been so many tournaments I thought I was going to win, dude. There's a Pickwick Tackle Warehouse, heavy hitters at Lake Palestine, BPT at Santee Cooper, Lake Brownwood this year. I mean, the list goes on. Since I've won, there's been so many that I thought I was going to win, and then it just doesn't go in my favor the final day. And so I was nervous a little bit in that aspect of like, I know what I have and I know how I'm going to play my cards, but like, is something going to happen again where it just holds me back? And, this time it didn't. And the fact that I didn't share those spots with anybody, I actually did share. A couple guys hit one of those, but they only hit it in the morning and they never ran back to it in the afternoon. It was 12, 13 miles offshore.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think they ever went back in the afternoon. And that was the best time to be there because that's when the shade positioned the fish. So morning fish on these were they were extras and bonuses. But the afternoon is when it really went down.
You were able to trailer in this event, so you could drive to where you wanted to put in and then drive out. So I feel like on Erie, I was talking with actually Frank Scalish, who I do day 4 with, about this, and he was unaware of that. And he's like, man, those guys were all over the fishery. And I was like, I'm pretty sure they could kind of strategize where you wanted to dump in each day, and then you have the 15-minute ride around. But that had to be a big part of the strategy too.
A little bit, but not that much, dude, because we got so lucky on weather that week. It was like one of those weeks you dream about for a Great Lake to be able. We could have launched every day. The wind on we launched from Sandusky on days 1 and 2, and then the wind on the weekend was supposed to pick up, and it was a little bit. Saturday morning it was a little bumpy. I could have ran across the lake, no problem that day. So could have everybody else. But on the weekend, we were allowed to trailer just because of the forecasted wind. But you know how that is. Sometimes it doesn't actually even pick up maybe until later in the day or whatever. It wasn't that bad. So whether I was running by boat, driving by truck, it was all kind of the same strategy. Like utilize the mouth of the river for numbers and my scoping period. And once the sun gets up, utilize the first navigational channel marker I found. And I didn't really think I could win the tournament or feel really good about the tournament until I found the second one later in the second day, once I was comfortably in the cut. I knew I needed to find something else. I had never really fished in that area on Lake Erie at all. So that end of the second day, into the third period, I run over to the Maumee River, which comes out of Toledo, Ohio, looking for another one of these navigational channel marker deals. And I get about 5 miles away, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I think there's one out there. I've never even seen it before. That's how little I've been on Lake Erie. But I get out there, and there is one. And I'm like, okay, let's see if there's any smallmouth here. 3 drops, 3 4-pounders. And I couldn't use scope in that period. I had already used it. So my 2D from, it's 30 feet deep. From 15 to 30 feet when I found this on day 2. And keep in mind, there's not another boat anywhere in sight. Like I can't even see a bass boat anywhere from there. My 2D from 15, I feel so old school saying this, but my 2D from 15 feet to 30 feet after I caught these 3 and 3 drops and I kind of drift up on it is completely blacked out with smallmouth noodling on the 2D screen. And at that point on day 2, like it's the end of the day, I have like 15, 20 minutes left. I might have just unlocked the winning deal here. And if I utilize the other stuff correctly, like we might be able to actually make this work. And so that was a pretty cool feeling when I found that on day 2. That was the type of stuff you just, you dream of right there.
I don't think it matters what sport or what league it is. Like, we're seeing it in the WNBA now. We've seen it in hockey.
Are you about to compare bass fishing to the WNBA?
No. We see it in golf. But organic, genuine rivalries are good for the sport and the competitors involved in it. And you have that with Jacob Wheeler because you're both at the top a lot. He has gotten the better of you the majority of the time that has it, which is how it also always works in the rivalry. You have one that's a little bit of an underdog that's trying, and another one that's saying, I don't want to. But it was interesting watching on the final day. And this is where I give MLF a lot of credit because it's hard to tell that story on Bass Live when the competitors don't know what the other competitors have. So you're still fishing against yourself. And yeah, you want to beat the other guy. But when you have the scoreboard and you know that you're number 1 and Wheeler's number 2 or Wheeler's number 3 or whatever, and you have the storyline and Wheeler knows that he's trying to catch you and he's on live going, that sucker found a magic hole. Oh, dang. But then he's also being classy going, oh, good for him. Congrats. Bullshit. He wanted to kick your butt in that. You wanted to beat Wheeler. One of the interesting things, and I don't know if you said it publicly or not, but when I asked you to be on the show and we are just kind of talking about this, you said that when Wheeler dropped to 3rd or 4th, and I thought you were going to say that I thought I might win, but that's not what you said when Wheeler dropped down. And I was like, oh, damn, Justin Lucas, next level competitor. Like, he wants the smoke.
Well, I've gotten the smoke plenty of times from Wheeler. He is hands down the most incredible fisherman that I've ever fished against, and I never fished against Van Dam in his prime. I know Van Dam was unbelievable, but I feel like there's Van Dam and there's Wheeler, and no one else. There's nobody else that can do what he does, period. And people can say anything they want about him. You can't be that good unless you are just truly that good. Like, he understands fish. He understands how to practice. His game plan, everything he does is to a T all the time. And not only that, but extremely confident in what he decides that he's going to do. So, yes, I want to beat Wheeler. He has gotten me so many times, and it is a friendly rivalry. But I wish I could, butt heads with him a little bit more out there, but it's so hard to keep up with what he's doing. But with that said, when I have the chance to do it, he got me earlier at Brownwood this year. I really thought, man, I won that knockout round by like a lot, and I really thought I was just going to go out the next day and dominate that tournament. And I was leading going into the second round, and it just got so tough. And, I didn't adjust well. I made some mistakes. And I knew this time around, like, I did not want to make mistakes again. Like, I knew what I had, and I knew it was very special. And I'm like, man, if I do this right, this is the one. And, the one thing that, like you said, Wheeler, he wanted to win there really bad. He's wanted to win there really bad 2 different times. He spent more time than any other professional, current professional for sure, on Lake Erie. He knows that thing so well. He's got so many spots out there. We've all heard the stories about him idling around at night, years ago, just, not during a tournament, just out there, just learning. And so the one thing I can say I've got on Wheeler, he has destroyed me plenty of times, but I have got him twice now on a place where he really wants to win. And so if I can, get under his skin just a little bit right there, that's good, because he he's taken plenty of lunch and dinner and breakfast money from my family over the years.
But you told me you wanted him to finish second, not third, fourth, or fifth. Like you wanted him to, you were like asking score tracker stuff because you didn't want him to go quietly into the night. You wanted to beat, you said that to me, Justin. I know you did. You were like, I wanted Wheeler. I love that. That's what we need. That's so badass.
Yeah. It was during my afternoon flurry. He got within like 8 pounds, and I knew, I'm like, man, I've got to go back to it's time. It's like 1:30, whatever. I've got to go back, and these fish have got to turn on now that the shade has moved. It's all lining up right. I could get there easily, all this stuff. But yeah, when he slipped to third or fourth, I was in my mind thinking, get your freaking butt back to second, dude. Like, let's go right now. And, I knew he was going to catch him. And, like, that's the thing about Wheeler and Score Tracker is he makes you feel, and Score Tracker in general makes you feel really uncomfortable. But when Wheeler's right behind you, it makes you feel even more uncomfortable. But I knew what I was on. And so I was like, I want it, man. Like, let's go. You and me again, 6 years later on the same body of water. Like, let's do it. And so, yeah, I'm ultra competitive, man. You know that. And, I want to win every tournament. It's really hard to do. I've been super consistent. So thankful for that over the years, how consistent I've been. But Wheeler, he's making me a better fisherman. And I feel like even right now at 40, like I'm fit. I felt like I fished almost as good this year as I did when I won AOY. Maybe not quite as well, but I still feel like I have more to give too. And there's more for me to learn, and I'll never know it all. And I'm still very, very hungry. I'm as hungry as I was in that first picture you showed. And that to me is what still gets me really motivated and fired up, dude, is knowing that, 22 years later from that picture, like I still love this game, even though so much has changed over the years.
Do you know anybody who's made it in this sport, who's had longevity in this sport without maintaining the passion for it? High level longevity, not just, hey, we ain't cutting anybody for the next 12 years. And I guess we'll stick around and complain every tournament about how bad everything is. But I think that combination, passion plus skill, like that's the sauce for longevity in this game.
Yeah, dude. I know that, I got on one of those, I told you before, but I got on one of those angler boards years ago, and I got into the politics and all the backside of anglers in the league and all this stuff. And it was mentally the worst year of fishing I ever had. And I got off that thing after that. And the next year I won a tournament. And ever since then, I've had so much more fun and been fishing well, dude, like finishing in the top 10 in points most years, finishing third this year. And like, I just love it, dude. I love this. I love watching it because I know what that meant, how many hours went into that final moment right there. And, dude, I just can't get enough of it. Right now I need to take the little break and not get enough of it, or, just be satisfied right now with the baby coming and everything. But like, I'm so looking forward to the next event and the event after that, and the team series and everything else. So just super thankful, dude. That's where I'm at in my career right now, and super thankful and just having a lot of fun.
And is it true that you're naming your third baby Erie?
Yeah, somebody said you need
Erie
to name
Lucas?
it Lake Erie Lucas. No. I think we're going with...
you don't have to if it's not public yet. I wasn't trying to do that. I don't want you to get in trouble, but if you want to, feel free to. I
think we're going with Jet. Jett.
I
Jet
like
Lucas. Yeah. Jet James Lucas is what we're going with. And I'm telling everybody, if he's not fast by the time he's 5, we'll go by James.
And if you know anything about the Lucas family, there is athleticism in the genes pretty much from top to bottom. So you add that with the name, and I mean, he'll be out there out scoping you when he's 12
That's
on
fine.
tour.
That's fine.
We haven't had a show where I've really kind of gotten into the bait, and I want to get into a simple bait, which is a flatworm on a drop shot, but I want you to kind of get into the real nitty gritty of it. Hook size, do you skin hook it? Do you go right through it? Are there any of these little smallmouth tips and tricks, or is it get a chunk of max scent in front of a fish and it eats it?
So a couple things. I'm extremely confident that when I'm on the Great Lakes, St. Lawrence River, Lake Michigan, Sturgeon Bay, wherever, right? If I put the small flatworm in my hands and just put it on a drop shot, and we're targeting smallmouth bass on the Great Lakes, I feel like I have one job to do, and that's to find where the biggest population, biggest fish, whatever it may be, but like where are they at? And this bait's going to show me that. I love a drop shot for the fact that people don't realize this about a drop shot, but it is such it's such an incredible technique for practice and a tournament, because you can fish a drop shot really fast and cover a lot of water. And then you can also slow down with it when you find the fish and talk them into biting it almost. And I've just never seen a bait, as long as I've been fishing for smallmouth now, ever since Max Scent came out, that the smallmouth just bite, eat, swallow, so many hooked in the gut. Like everything that has happened with Max Scent, it just has blown my mind over the years. And I think it first came out in 2018. That's when Josh and I used it up at the St. Lawrence River. Yep. And we had other pros like begging for this stuff like it was a drug. We were selling drugs. That's what it felt like. I remember Matt Heron like coming over to our camper at the time, and he's like, "I'll take any color you got. Come on, Lucas." Like, I'm like, "Any color? Like, here, take this one." And then he comes back the next day, and I thought that was like the worst color, and he's asking for more of those. But it was all I had to give him at the time. So super confident in it. I think it works incredibly well. Obviously, it wins tournaments, and it's nothing crazy. Like, I think the shape is it's perfect and it's the right size. I think that obviously is important. There's a lot of shapes out there like that, but I think it's the scent, the taste, and also just the colors and how natural the colors are, in Max Scent, that for some reason, smallmouth with all that combined, it's like a drug to them. I mean, these fish, what was crazy, Matt, is the fish I was eating on that thing, or eating bait like that big. Like I caught a 513.
Perch?
I don't know if it was a perch.
Or
don't know what it was, but I had a couple of them throw them out. I remember a 513, when I set the hook, it jumps and somersaults, and this 6-inch, 5.5-inch bait goes flying out. My guess is that they're perch, but I'm like, if these big fish are targeting that, like, why are they still eating this 3.5-inch Max Scent flatworm? And I don't do anything crazy. So back to that, I just tie it on a drop shot, a number one drop shot hook, nothing crazy. I nose hook it just through the top. I don't
nothing crazy with the hook. You do the Palomar with the line straight back through, the hook pops out, or do you do like one of those weird knots?
So I put the hook through the weight, and I put the line through. So it's like, the weight and the hook are down here. Yeah. I pinch it. I wrap down 6 times. Clifford Perch showed me this probably 12, 13 years ago, something like that. I wrap down 6 times, go through the top loop, pull it all tight, and then I look at it on the line, and whatever way it's tilting, if it's tilting like to the left or down to the left, I just grab the hook and I turn it upright, and put the line through the top eye from the other side. So it's always perfectly straight and up. I think the one thing that I do always, and I never change, and I think this makes a difference for smallmouth, is I keep my bait a little bit closer to the bottom than most people. Like, I think a lot of people use like 15, 16, 18-inch, 20-inch leaders. Guys were talking about that at our last tournament. Oh, you got to keep the drum off the hook. The only way to do that is you use this big, long leader. And I just don't do that. I use anywhere from in the springtime, I use a 6-inch, 8-inch leader on a drop shot from the hook to the weight. But for smallmouth, it's always somewhere pretty much like in that 10 to 14-inch range. And I'm really happy with it in that range, as long as it's somewhere around there. I don't think 4 inches, from 10 to 14 is that big of a deal. I think from 14 to 18 is a way bigger deal. And I can't prove that, and it might just be confidence. But for me, dude, I've won every tournament doing it the same way. So,
shiny or black weight, does it matter? Teardrop, cylindrical, round, lead, tungsten, tin.
Yeah, so tungsten weight, I use the ones that have the little clevis where you pull your line through, just because it's quick and easy. The one thing I do is I double up the tag in back through the clevis, because smallmouth jump so much, a lot of times they'll throw the weight. If you double it up, they can't throw it nearly as easy, so you don't lose as many weights. But if you still get hung on the bottom with your weight, you can break your weight free. So I do that. I use teardrop weights majority of the time for smallmouth. But, when I was up there fishing around the mouth of the river up shallower, I used as small as a quarter, and I used a cone style or whatever they are. The skinnier weights. Don't think it matters. Yeah, whatever.
That's what they're called.
Okay, got it. But black, lead, or regular, non-painted, I don't think any of it matters. I do think just in general, sometimes I've seen it on scope where smallmouth will eat your weight, and you just have to get it out of its mouth, and then they see the bait and they eat the bait. So that has happened to me a few times throughout the years. But one other key thing I will say, dude, and this is so critical, especially in tournaments, is anytime I have ever, and I caught on the final day, I had 25 bites, I caught 25 fish. I only lost one, and I lost it after fighting it for about 7-8 seconds. But as soon as I ever lose a smallmouth, it doesn't matter how close to the boat they come off. I will always open my bail, let the bait go all the way back down to the bottom, and shake it. And so many times, dude, I cannot tell you how many times I catch that fish again. Like more than 50%. It's pretty wild. On the knockout round, I did lose like 3 or 4. They were eating weird that day. Caught every single one of them when I would lose them. Some of them halfway back to the boat. And you lose them halfway back to the boat. You open your bail, just let it go all the way down. It's like they're so pissed off, they just run all the way back down to it and eat it again. And then you actually get a better hook in them because you're more vertical on them at that point. So that's it, dude. Nothing crazy.
You don't do anything with the hook as far as, there's guys that tweak it, that open it a little bit, that make sure that the hook point isn't directly in line with the eye. You just take a fusion hook straight out of the pack and tie it on?
I'll use a fusion some, but, I use a Gamakatsu, just original split shot, drop shot hook too.
Okay. Just a regular one that you can buy in the 25 pack from any of your local retailers. Yeah,
it's the same one that I've used for so long.
Yeah, that's what 90% of the guys use. There's a couple guys that use funky stuff too, but I think that one, that's the overall, that's in everybody's box up north. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, and it's a lot of, I know a lot of guys like to thread a drop shot too. That got really popular, and I did it for a while. But man, I just feel like a number one little nose hook like that, when you peg them on that thing, you're always going to lose some fish on a drop shot no matter what. Mm-hmm. But just because smallmouth and their mouths and the way they fight, everything, there's a lot of things going against you. But that little hook, when you peg them with that thing, it's just deadly, dude. And I just keep finding myself going back to that.
And you mentioned it, 10-pound leader or 12? What was the leader?
Yeah, so I used to throw a lot of 8, but I've gotten to where I throw 10. Number one, I can fight them a little bit harder and get them to the boat faster in our format. That's really important. But I have not noticed it. I have not noticed it really getting me any less bites than 8-pound test. And I feel like there's a big gap in strength on a spinning rod and the way you fight a smallmouth and everything from 8 to 10, more so than like even 10 to 12. Like 10 to 12, yeah, I can fight a smallmouth the same. But if you have 8-pound tests on 4 and 5 and 6-pound smallmouth, like you're asking for trouble, and you better retie a lot. And with the 10, dude, there was one point that second day or that final day in the final period, like I caught like 25 pounds of smallmouth on one setup, like I had 11 drop shots rigged, but I just kept picking the same one up because I'm like, man, my line's good. It's 10-pound Gin Clear fluoro. Like it's not frayed up. Like the hook point's still sharp. I'm catching them on this rod. Let's just keep going. So, I hate to hurt your feelings. I know you thought you were going to get something really special there,
No, that is special. That's exactly what it is. So here's what I'm getting out of this. A lot of people, they watch what's going on, what you did up there on Erie. They want to get some of that action. What's going to happen this week on the St. Lawrence, on the Elite. Like this is the time of the year you see it. Like I remember when the season opens, you open up that Instagram for the first time and there's the guy holding just a balloon smallmouth and you're like, oh damn, here comes the FOMO for the next 4 months. If you don't have a trip planned on that, you just like keep scrolling past because you don't want to look because you get that twitch where you're like, oh, I'm missing it. Oh, they're going down. Oh my God. But and there's still a lot of people that like this isn't their jam, like from the South and stuff like that. Like I do the guide day stuff and guys are like, what do I need to bring and stuff? Here's what I'm getting. Pretty much regardless, up north smallmouth, particularly on the Great Lakes, not even the Great Lakes though. If you're a smallmouth heavy, you're going to Canada, anything. Number one drop shot, split shot hook. 3/8 ounce teardropped weight, throw in a couple quarter ounces as well. 3.6 inch flatworm. Don't overcomplicate it. You can never go wrong with green pumpkin when you're up there. So if you're just going to buy one, buy packs of green pumpkin. Shorter 12 to 16 inch leader. 10-pound test. Standard spinning rod stuff. And if you are on a fishery that has quality smallmouth in any part of the north, that rig is going to get you bites, show you what's around, and in some cases be the best option. In a lot of cases be the best option. But kids, wife, girlfriends, fishing, whatever, that exact setup right there, you cannot go wrong with it fishing for smallmouth up north.
100%. I have a good friend, actually lives in Oklahoma. He's never gone up north and smallmouth fish, and he just sent me his tackle warehouse order after Lake Erie. He said, I've had enough. I'm 67. I'm going to Mille Lacs. And he sent me his tackle warehouse order and $1,000, and he's like, does this look good? And it was everything you just said. It was drop shot hooks, drop shot weights. And for me, I'm a big believer in throwing the black Maxent flatworm in the mornings and when it's cloudy. But like you said, 75% of the time, green pumpkin's great. And then smoke with black and purple flake, if it's really calm and clear, seems to be a great way to get some bites if it's real calm and clear. But his list consisted of all of that. And I'm just so excited for this guy to go up there to Mille Lacs and call me. Because if you've never done it, I know it might not be the most fun thing to watch, especially guys scoping smallmouth. I know that might not be the most fun thing to watch, but going up there and doing it yourself, scoping or not scoping, just going up there, fishing a drop shot and catching big smallmouth, it's a blast. And like you said, like I look forward to it every summer, but by the end of the summer, I'm also like, okay, I've had enough, and then the next year I'm like, I can't wait for that again, so it's just special, man. And I see so many people come down here to Guntersville from up north, and I'm like, man, I wish all these guys would go up there and experience what those guys have in the summer, because everyone from up north is down here in the winter. And I don't know how many of our people truly leave here to go up there and experience that. It's not that
first
far.
one of the year, though. Like when I went up to Champlain for the Bass Day, I remember, like you get out there you hook one, that first one when you like scoop it, the first one of every year, because I try to make a point to do a couple weeks up there, whether it's for a tournament, but when you've got that freaking smallmouth in your hand and it's been 8-9 months since you've had it and you're out there and you've got the hoodie on and the shorts and it's a hood and you're looking at it, like you just can't help but smile. That very first one of the year, that first 4-pounder where you're like, God, these things are so cool. And then, you get to the point sometimes on St. Clair and stuff where you're like, okay, we've seen a lot of these.
yeah, dude. Like, it's not something I would want to do every single day in the summer. But, it's just, it kind of brings back that, like, why you love to fish in the beginning anyway. Like, you're getting pulled on by a fish and you feel like it's going to break your line and you're fighting it. And obviously in a tournament, my job is to get it in the boat, but in practice and stuff, like I'm just enjoying the fight. And a 4 or 5 pound smallmouth on 10-pound test, 8-pound braid, that's a fun fight no matter what. And the way they jump and everything, they're just a really cool fish. I love them.
It's interesting because I know you're also a big flat-nosed minnow guy too.
Yeah, I mean, I throw that. I don't think that it really matters though. Like I think a flat-nosed minnow would have caught those same fish.
Gotcha.
And but it's just I had the flatworms and it got to one point, like on the first day of the tournament, I knew in practice, I'm like, people are like, oh, they got it. It's only this color or that color. Do you have any of the brown back? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like the first day of the tournament, I put a pack of black, a pack of green pumpkin, and a pack of smoked purple. And I went through all 3 bags the first day of the tournament. And just, it didn't matter. Like they were just eating whatever. So the only time that color really, like I said, really, really matters to me is I do love black in the mornings, late at night, or cloudy situations. I just feel like the smallmouth really can key in on black and see it really well if there's low light conditions.
All right. Before I let you go, I'm going to let you squirm here for a little bit. So MLF.
Oh, geez.
MLF comes out with the press release, complete revamp of the BFLs. I have to ask you this because I use you as an example. We had Sean Goodwin on, who's won 9 BFLs, All-American, a regional from Oklahoma, the whole 9 yards. And obviously, they've been trying to figure out a little 30-second recap where the BFLs fit into this. You obviously had the heyday of it. And then since the purchase from FLW, it wasn't doing fantastic in the last couple years of the FLW, but you're going from 250, 300 boats back in the heyday to 60, 70 boats. You're seeing guys who are finishing 5th at 6, not even hardly winning their entry fees back. A revamp, something was needed for the BFLs. I'm sure you've seen what it is, and I'm not asking you to get political. This is going to lead to a question that may or may not kind of mold my thought process around this. Team series now. You can either fish individual or you can fish as a team, unlimited forward-facing sonar. I don't care about like what all the winning is and the 10,000 and that the All-American's gone and stuff. That's the stuff why you're not on the committees, not for you to decide. You're just out there.
Exactly.
Here is what I wanted to ask you about. You, Stetson Blaylock, Spencer Shuffield, Matt Erie. I could go on and on and on. And even if it was for not that long of a time, you guys were all FLW co-anglers in the boat with it. How important, in your opinion, in the overall health of growing, this is so niche, this is going to sound snobbish, but the unwritten rules, understanding how it works behind the scenes, how important was it for you in those chubby face days to get in the boat with dozens of guys who had been there and done that and learn the nuances of how this sport actually works behind the scenes on the water between the competitors, as opposed to if you had just hopped in and had never done that? How important is, when you're green, getting in the boat with guys who are seasoned and taking a little piece, a little portion of each one of those experiences to mold who you are as an angler today? Or if you fish with the same teammate and you never have those boater co-angler draws, am I overstating the importance of that?
Well, let me first off say I have never fished a single BFL. We didn't have them in California. And so, well, they did at one time, but not when I was
Right.
coming up. So I started fishing as a co-angler in what was back then Stren Series, which is now Toyota Series. So if I understand it correctly, I don't think they made any change there, right? Toyota Series will still have a co-angler.
There has not been any press releases immediately as of what the Toyota Series is right now, Justin. So we'll just leave it at that.
I think I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, I've removed myself.
All I'm talking about is I just want that aspect, because I just went on a rant about how me as a co-angler learned so much crap that I would never have been able to learn by jumping in the boat with so many strangers.
Yeah, I do think how do I say this? There's some obviously very good fishermen at the BFL level, but I think once you bump up to the Toyota Series, your boaters are probably taking it a little more serious. They have more invested. It's not just a weekend tournament on their home lake or a lake close to home. Like, they're starting to travel, out of their realm a little bit. And I think that what you can learn as a co-angler in the Toyota Series might be, that I feel like that stuff is really important. I never fished a one-day BFL as a co-angler or a boater, so I can't really speak to it. I'm sure there are some things to be learned there for sure, but I do feel like if you are a co-angler and you want to learn and you're really green, like, I just went straight to the Toyota Series as a co-angler. So I feel like that's still a viable option for those guys, Yeah, I mean, co-angling, that was my school for sure.
But you didn't learn anything from David Sanchez on day one on the California Delta in the Western Division when you hopped in the boat with him in 2006.
Yeah, that was a Toyota Series though, right? So yeah, I mean, I learned some stuff from him. I don't remember that day exactly. Jeez, you went back and looked at who I drew.
I just knew that off the top of my head. I know all pairings from the early 2000s.
You would, dude.
I don't have any friends.
I think obviously, well, you got me, dude. Happy birthday, by the way, yesterday.
Oh,
I think obviously, man, the BFLs were struggling. That's all I know. And like, if you're gonna do something, maybe Team BFLs is the answer. And guys that want to fish as a co-angler can go to Toyota Series now, I guess. I don't know.
Or maybe not.
Okay.
It was a question. I was just curious about the co-angler aspect. All I was worried about is building, like in a team series, like when I'm sure I've drawn co-anglers who plan on being boaters, and after their day with me, they go home and they write 3 things that they know they'll never going to do as a boater. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they'll go draw Sean Goodwin and be like, oh, this is how it's actually done. Like one is, more calories than milligrams of caffeine or nicotine. One is mental stability, things like that.
Oh, you got to give yourself more credit, dude.
No.
You definitely need to give yourself more credit. But yeah, I don't know how to answer your question there. I mean, I definitely don't ever want to see co-angling stuff completely go away, because I do feel like it's still, even for me, like getting in the boat with other people, that have different knowledge of me, even if they might not have won tournaments or whatever, like you can learn something from fishing with
Dude,
everybody.
When we fish out Guntersville and the Dana, you were just screwing around. I learned so much from you. It was embarrassing because I know that what you were doing, how do I say this? It was like TVA stuff. Like if you fish the TVAs and know what's going on, like what you were doing wasn't rocket science. But for someone from Oklahoma that's always kind of struggled on the TVA, to be there during the time of the year that you were there, where the fish are doing what they're supposed to be doing on the TVA, and then to watching how fast you're able to break down productive water, determine school size, read current, bottom composition, the whole 9 yards. Like it was wildly impressive, because when we went out for the day, you said, I don't want to fish anything that I've ever fished out here before. Let's just look for new stuff. If they're doing what they're doing, they'll be on the stuff that I already know. And you identified 3 or 4 different schools, the bait that worked best, the size of the school, and the temperament of it in a 4.5 hour period. And you were the speed with it, like just the little things that you learned, that I learned from that. I was like, wow, like, okay, you were fun fishing basically, and you're performing. I know I sound like I'm freaking glazing you here, but it was impressive. I don't give a damn. If you did dumbass stuff, I would have said that too. But the speed with which, like, I was like, holy cow, you're working at like a 95% effectiveness. And then it was because you were like mixing like Wagyu with figs was the 5%, because you're spending too much time trying to be freaking Gordon Ramsay on the water with your high end protein. I'm like, if I was to do this, I feel like I would have been like 10%. And that like upped my game like that. I've like been trying to practice that, like to have the right tools to do that. That's the type of stuff I think that it's going to be hard to build anglers in the future who so many guys come through those BFLs, just how to get that, how to put a game plan together. And I know that's yours and it's not copying it, but I have had such a, like, I should be catching them way better. I said that too, because of who I've been in the boat with and things like that. But I've had such a good learning experience as a co-angler in the bass club and jumping in the boat with just guys back in my earlier days. And I'm afraid that if you lose that, you end up with a bunch of people who don't know how to act on the water, and then they don't fall in love with the sport and don't understand the nuances because they're not exposed to it. And I think the BFL is a perfect avenue, a perfect vessel for that at the local, to get that pro-co interaction, to create friends, which then leads to forever anglers who buy boats, who buy flatworms, who buy tackle. And like, there's not that big of it. And those guys were trying to get in that are going to invest over $1 million into this over the next 20 years of their career. We're giving them less and less opportunities for access to it. And I understand it's a team. You can still jump out as a team, but like those guys who get in the boat, you're not going to have them in the boat in a team event, because you don't know them.
Yeah, I see your point, dude. And I've always appreciated like your passion just for the sport. And you can tell like you're not even just saying this is wrong. You're just passionate and care about the future of bass fishing. And so I get it. But man, there's been so much that's changed over 20 years. I'm sure bass fishing will be all right. Like people will figure out the etiquette one way or the other. They might jump into some, they might get chewed out by some guys, and you get chewed out once or twice, and that you probably don't do that again. It's not fun to get chewed out on the water. So
leave it at this. You go to the store, whether it's Costco, Sam's Club, Walmart. This is a whole nother show on how to pick the steak, but you come home with a ribeye. We're going to do 14 to 17 ounce prime ribeye. It's in the saran wrap. You might have even gotten it from the butcher's. Doesn't matter where it came from. That's either here. It's not chicken or an egg. Top 3 tips from Justin Lucas when you're just grilling a steak at home for friends and family that'll take it over the top, not over the edge.
Ooh, you're asking me top 3?
Yeah, just your top 3 tips, whether it's the seasoning, the cooking, the preparation, anything. Just 3 things that will take your current steak to the next level that you believe are must-dos with a nice cut of meat.
Dude, I'm a big fan of Montreal steak. I'm a big fan of seasoning ahead of time and letting it rest in the fridge for a few hours and then pulling it out, getting it to room temp. That all to me is pretty important. But then reverse searing, and we just use the oven. You could use a Traeger, whatever, but at 225 degrees, that's always my number. I get the internal temp of the steak to 115, and then I used to be a 1 minute or 60-second per side sear, but now I'm a 90. I like more crust on the outside. And I used to pull it at 125 and sear for 60. Now I pull it at 115 and sear for 90 each side. And when I say each side, top and bottom, you can hit the sides a little bit too. But ever since I started doing that, I feel like people have been like, man, these steaks are really good. I know my breed loves them that way. I love them that way. So you get a better crust. Thanks to you, I have a Blackstone now. And for everybody that doesn't know, Matt actually bought me a Blackstone. Nice guy over here. And I've been using it. And the one thing I have to get now is the heavyweight to sit on the steak to get that nice even crust all the way across. I feel like that'll be the final touch.
And it makes it a lot more even, especially when you have a little and it just gets.
Well, you know how they get hot and that Blackstone gets real hot and it wants to lift up, on the sides and stuff. Keep that thing pushed down, nice even crust all the way across. Got it. Yeah.
Well, long time coming for that. That has to feel good to not only have the big check, but also the trophy.
Feels good.
And I mean, screw framing that picture. Frame the hand drawn one, man. That's gotta be on the wall. Take that sucker to what do you have there around Gunnersville? You got the old Hobby Lobby around Gunnersville.
We do. Yeah.
Take that thing back corner of Hobby Lobby. Don't go on Sundays. I think they're closed on Sundays like Chick-fil-A. And then every other week you get 50% off, but you don't know what week is 50% off. So if you go in and the frames aren't 50%, just wait a week and then the frames will be 50. They do 50-50 on the store. Take it to the back corner. There'll be a nice lady, typically in an apron there. You'll see like one of those paper cutter things. Show it, say, hey ma'am, I would like to have this professionally framed. You pick your frame out, you drop it off. 2 or 3 days later, it comes back. You pay them an exorbitant amount of money, but you have that thing framed forever.
I agree, dude. That is a really good idea. This drawing is not going anywhere. I promise you that.
Did they sign it?
They didn't sign it. I could get them to. They would.
Well, I mean, it's yours. I mean, you probably know who did it. Yeah, that was dumb.
Dude. It's all good. It's cool. That's way cooler than the trophy. Way cooler.
Oh yeah, you would trade the trophy for that piece of paper right now. If someone was like, you can only have one. You're like, see a trophy.
All day. They got the trophy drawn on it, dude, all day.
Look at how much stuff I got for you. You should see around the studio. You see, he
is Mr. Hobby Lobby up there.
I got Justin Lucas signed $5 bills that are framed. I got all sorts of jerseys, all sorts of. When you catch them twice a year, you have to commemorate it. So you need to do frame thing, actually caught them. I got stuff with boat numbers and little. There's nothing like a good frame that puts a room in perspective.
I got that a guy sent me this picture back. I think you can probably see it a little bit, but it's a bass.
The bass.
And I got that thing framed at Hobby Lobby years ago. But that's a really cool picture. Can't remember the gentleman that sent that to me. He sent it to me a long time ago, but I was like, man, I got to get that thing framed. And I went to Hobby Lobby and got it framed.
Back right corner.
But then that's when I really learned that Hobby Lobby, all these ladies think they're just getting these great deals. And I'm like, this is a total business model right here.
Yeah, 50% off one week and then 50% off the next week. So if you go in and what you want is not 50% off, wait till that following Monday, go in and it will be 50% off. Entire store.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I'm just looking through these comments right here, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that said congrats and watched the show today. Matt, I really enjoyed it. Always love being on with you. We need to go fishing again soon, and I'm going to enjoy a little bit of time off, but definitely looking forward to the fall and things that are coming up.
It was impressive. I'm going to say, it's no secret. You took that big plug and I've never seen someone own a school before. And I'm out there, I got the drop shot and the minnow and that stuff. And
you were the cleanup man, dude.
You've got your stuff dialed in. I will say, what were you running the XL or what did you have? Active Target 2 or?
I did. And I was kind of on the fence about XL, so but I just recently got the newest update, 26.2, and I installed it right before I went to Erie. and I fished with that up in Erie the whole time. And it was the newest update for Active Target 2 XL. It was nice. It was really good. So
yeah, I will say that I really liked your setup in your boat. I was very impressed with it, actually. But I say that to say I've never seen someone bully an offshore school of fish, and you were bullying the school. Like it was.
Look, people
you know what
see
I'm
me
saying?
they see me as a drop shot fisherman, but I am telling you, one of my favorite things in the world is getting a giant crankbait and throwing it on some offshore schools. Like there's just something about a bass just knocking slack or loading up a big giant crankbait like that. I did it at Grand Lake too. Got some really nice ones doing it out there. But dude, last thing, you need to get. Are you going to come down here anytime soon? Anytime this fall?
Yeah. I got the EQ in November, so
where at?
Gunnersville.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. And then we have to do
nice.
the Table of Doom and the Coin Flip of Destiny on Bassmaster to see whether it's scope or not scope. So it's literally like exactly a month after the Alabama Lollapalooza event down there.
Got it. You got to come by the house because, dude, my shop. So since I ended the tournament, I got back home. I took all last week off. It was really hot here too, like super, super hot. And I have never gone through my shop and every single box and everything I own like I did this past week. And I'm so fired up right now, dude. Like
just
my
dialed.
Stuff it's insane.
Are you on a PC? Are you on your phone or a PC right now?
I'm on my phone right now.
Will that walk? Can you give us just a sneak peek, or would you have to pass things that you didn't want to see? We'll see. If it drops or something, congratulations, appreciate it.
Yeah,
hell of a job, and thanks for jumping on. If it doesn't, we'll get a sneak peek.
There's the trophies, by the way.
Yeah,
there's one from last week, but there they are. All right, let's go out. See if this.
There's nothing like a well-organized shop that I like better.
Oh,
well, maybe
dude,
a little bit, maybe a new steak technique, but
yeah, wait till you see this.
We'll see, folks. What you're looking?
I gotta figure out how do I turn it around.
What you're looking at in the background there is Chapo royalties.
Shut up, dude. This is our first house, bro.
We'll see. We're still hanging. Oh, we got a good look at it. It's a little choppy. We'll see if we can go big screen. Yeah, that's clean.
Right.
That's Charlie Hartley approved, Justin Lucas.
Is Charlie Hartley is he like this? Like super organized and everything?
Oh, yes. The guy washes his boat and truck every single day.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
You have to do
immaculate.
He's raw together.
Workshop station. Yeah, that's sick. I think we just lost him. Oh, look at that. All the boxes. Yeah, you're in and out. It's the perfect amount of tease for it. But yeah, you need to do a video on that.
Right. Just ordered my new boat yesterday too, so we're ready to go.
I'm picking up mine today with the show on it.
Nice.
From
You're
the
gonna
Bass
love
tank.
that, bro. You are gonna love that.
Yeah.
All right, dog. Well, thank you
man.
for having
Thanks,
me
Justin.
on.
Have a good one.
All right, see you, dude.
All right, that is that's a little sneak peek of one of the best to do it. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we got kind of a big show tomorrow with Frank. There may have been a little bit of a premature drop on LureNet on some one-off stuff, and I had to call and be like, did you know they were going to drop this today? And he was like, no, but we're going to talk about it on Thursday. So it's BTL on Wednesday, August 19th. We'll be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Before there were hashtags, there were handshakes and shared stories. They gave us confidence to make our first cast and chase our dreams. They taught us to fish, and in the process, taught us about life. They taught us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about lifting others up. The future isn't just about selling tackle. It's about 3 simple words. Let's go fishing. Here's to the original influencers.
Hey guys, Brian Schmidt here with Spro. I'm going to talk to you about the confidence I have in the equipment I use. You know, I have a charter boat business back home in Maryland. We fish for saltwater fish, and I also fish the Bassmasters Elite Series. So I keep my lights on by fishing. I have to have a lot of confidence in the equipment I use. Spro has me covered from head to toe, saltwater, freshwater, everything in between. A lot of high-end quality product. Spro has you covered.
At Beatdown Outdoors, we know you depend on your gear to hold up in any condition. We built for that. We test for that. In fact, we pride ourselves in that. Because we know when the time comes to test your gear, you aren't going to take it easy, so we won't. We build premium, made-in-the-USA products that you can rely on in the moments when your equipment should be the last thing on your mind.
I fish in some of the worst elements across the country. Spring, that's a giant, dude. Summer, oh my gosh. Hi, look at that thing. Winter, it's so cold. And fall, got a big one, that's awesome. Being comfortable and staying dry is the only option. AFCO, any fish, any water.
All right, welcome back. Wrapping things up here on a Wednesday. Always a professional. He's always been a consummate professional. Like, there's a couple guys you put in that, like, just always have their stuff together. It seems like on the water represented, and it pays off, like in brand deals and non-endemic stuff. And let's say everyone's different, but like I put him in like that Dean Rojas, Edwin Evers, KVD category. I mean, like, always going to show up, press slacks, tucked in shirt. Represent the brand well, and I think it's paid off. He's got that big, athletic brewing there on the bottom there. That's a pretty cool non-alcoholic, non-endemic that Justin has. But also that competition aspect, like, you like to watch 2 competitors who don't want to lose to each other go at it. And in fishing, you're dealing with big fields. There's no like head to head. Like, it's not, you don't see Scott Stevens and Paul Correa from back in the day, like they're on the ice at the same time. What I'd like that there's no like actual interaction like that in a contact sport. But when you know the score, when you know the weights, and I'm not saying I think it should be like that at all, the sports. I think the decision making of not knowing what everybody else has and the carryover weights going into day 4 of the Elite Series, I think that that's pure as well too. But the competition aspect of knowing so-and-so is catching them, is coming, and we're 6, I'm kind of beating a dead horse on this, but you get one every once in a while. We had the Wheeler, was it Cole Floyd? I think so. The buzzbait fish on the last cast where then Wheeler hooks up and tries to boat flip the smallmouth and it breaks off and that type of thing. You get those moments, and I really just like kind of the back and forth of those moments between 2 competitors at the top of their game, each wanting it really bad. And that's really cool. Something that is out now. This is just a little sneak peek. I don't know if I should do it. So we do a day 4, which is Lure Net show, tomorrow with Frank, and he is unveiling the 2026 Bass Fishing Hall of Fame limited edition lures. And this is something that's pretty cool. They are all Zara Spooks. and it's Johnny Morris, Jimmy Houston, and Bob Cobb, and who was the other one? Denny Brower. Denny Brower's not a spook. He's got a giant torpedo, which is very cool. But those are currently up on the LureNet website. This is pretty cool here. I'll show the screen on this one. So like each one has like the little saying from it. So there's like Johnny Morris's. Frank's painted these things. You can use capital BTL 25, get 15% off regularly priced items on that. But that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Frank is going to go through each one of those paint jobs. I got to go pick up a Bass Cat Lynx, the new seats, and then a Yamaha show, 250 show on the back. We'll do a walkthrough for it, but big shout out to Scott, the Bass Tank, for working that in. Big shout out to Bass Cat for working that in. I have to get the motor. I just take it in and say, do whatever you do to the guy who knows how to do Yamaha stuff, who's a certified Yamaha mechanic. And then it's on the water. I have seen it like with my eyes. Again, I towed it back, took the cover off, and basically saw it with my eyes for 45 minutes before I took it up to the Bass Tank, where it's been for a couple days. So I'm pretty pumped, really excited about it. No, with the EQs, the list of approved transducers for 2026 does not include a 42 or a 44 or 42 HD. So black box back installed in this with a 34. It's interesting. They do all these rules or law to be like limit screen inch size and what you can have on it and whatnot. And, originally they were saying, oh, it's, so average fisherman can relate, and it doesn't look like a spaceship. It doesn't cost. It costs me like more money because now we're doing the flip. So we know there'll be at least one no scope, potentially two no scopes. So Toledo Bend, Gunnersville could be no scope. Norfolk could be no scope. Never have I had a 360. I just never had a 360 unit. I've jumped in the boat with Kevin Ledoux, who did a pretty good job of selling me on it because he's got that thing absolutely dialed in. And a couple of the guys I talked with, Cranford, and he's like, yeah, it really helps when you can't turn the live scope on. So I've got a 12-inch Explorer with a 360 on it and then a 12-inch. So I'm that guy. I've got a Garmin, a Humminbird, and a Lowrance up front. And then I got the two on a beatdown double stack shorty. One's just on that, and they'll have the power brakes there, buttons up there. And then straight up just a 12-inch HDS Live in dash on the console. And that's what I got. So BTL Live on the water with the new cat, first fish caught in it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not good at setting stuff up on the water. So guess who's probably going to be on the water for the first setup is Scott from the Bass Tank. He's going to kind of walk me through the 360 stuff. I'll tell you what we are working towards on the water is some more live on the water with Scott Palmer, as we can compare the 34 to the 44 to the 42 HD. He's got some multiple boats and some different stuff that's going on. So we'll definitely be on the water with that. And then we're working on some pretty cool stuff. It won't be every day. Like I love sitting in the studio and talking to guys one-on-one for 1.5, 2 hours every single day. But I also like getting out there and exploring, and that technology now exists to where we can bring it to you guys live. So day 4 with Frank Scalish tomorrow to wrap up another week of BTL. I mentioned at the beginning of the show, if you follow me on Instagram, which I know a lot of you guys do, go follow Bass_talk_live. Bass Talk Live is where all of the updated things. We're going to have show schedules, show clips, giveaways, information on that. I'll have that link in my story of just at Matt Pangrac. Also on Facebook, revive that Facebook page and stuff. So trying to boost the social media more so just so like Court was like, hey, like sometimes you go to an open, you don't have a show, and then like people jump on Monday and they're like, what's going on? I was like, yeah, no, that's a valid point. So now we have a way to communicate with everybody as to what's going on for the 200 plus shows that we do a year on BTL, and appreciate each and every one of you who tunes in. We'll see you tomorrow.